Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, Master Disciple Togetherness and Transformation. I have explained certain things yesterday. Master and disciple togetherness is the core. There is no hierarchy, there is no lower, there is no higher. It happens like when a couple is deciding to travel a country, but they did not get the same flight, so they get different flights. So one reaches before the other. So the one who reaches there before is there to welcome his partner. So in the same way, Master is the one who has reached the destination earlier than you, and he welcomes you. There is no hierarchy. I have mentioned to you many times before, you are sitting in your room, look at the wall in front of you. Wall is one piece. Is there anything higher and lower? The lower wall or the higher wall? Wall is one piece. The term lower and higher are used only for certain reasons. For instance, you have to hang a picture. Where would you hang? You will hang at the eye level so that the person who is sitting, person who is standing can have a clear view of the picture. Then you have to put the wall sockets electrical. You cannot have it very high, you cannot have it very low. It has to be a certain height. If it is too high, then your appliances cannot be connected easily, unless it is for a tall structure like commercial freezers. They are put at a height. So there is nothing lower and higher. What is lower? It is the beginning of the higher. Without the lower starting its process, you cannot reach the higher. And what is higher? Higher is the culmination or the end up to where the lower can go. When you are building a room has to have a domestic. It has to have a certain height. So process starts from foundation, first block, second, and they continue until you reach that desired height, and then you pause and the roof comes over it. But if it is a commercial building, the height has to be higher. So it depends upon, so there is nothing, this hierarchy between lower and higher is not important in the process of transcendence. I am not superior to you, you are not inferior to me. It's just I got a flight earlier, I reached before, but all of us are in transit. All of us are transit. This is the first criteria for transcendence. That's why there are only 4 systems of transcendence. Tantra is a male-female relationship. In the act of sex, is male important or the female important? but the man considers himself to be superior, and it is considered as a superior sex. But without the woman, man cannot experience sex, and without women, man cannot experience sex. Both has to participate, play their roles in the process of fulfillment through sex. This we have to understand that. In the same way, Master cannot do anything if the disciple is not ready for the process of transformation. I am speaking because you are here. It is because of you I am here. You are making me speak to you, and because of that I am here. And because of me you are here. And because of us there is this togetherness, this process is taking place, this live streaming is taking place. So in Tantra there is no hierarchy, no lower and higher. Zen there is no lower and higher. In Sufi path there is no lower and higher. The Sufis is the only path where the disciple, the seeker, considers God as feminine. Otherwise, in Islam, in Christianity, God is considered as masculine. Only in Sufism, entire Sufi poetry, literature, be it of Rumi, be it of Umar Khayyam, be it of Hasid, anyone, in that God is considered as feminine. And that is why the master disciple, now the process has begun. Master is masculine and the disciple is feminine until the balance happens. In Zen there is no higher and lower. And Tao, there is nothing like this. It is said when Chuang Tzu told his disciples that he has a dream last night, and in the dream he saw that he has become a butterfly. So what is wrong? Disciples said, anybody can dream anything. He said, no, my problem is not that. My problem is this, maybe the butterfly also dreamed that it has become Chuang Tzu. So disciples said, when he asked what is the way to explanation, he said, better I throw cold water on your face so that you come to your senses. A Zen disciple can tell his master that, but a Vedanta disciple cannot say that to his master. A Sufi disciple cannot act with his master in that way. So it is unique in its own way. Zen, Tao, Tantra, and Sufi, these are four paths of transcendence. In Vedanta has created, although explanations are there, very beautiful, but has created a kind of a hierarchy. The master and disciple, the psycho centers, starting from Mooladhara to Swadhisthana. But you understand this here, but the Christians call it as 7 churches, but all the churches are at the same level. Sufis use the term 7 valleys. Al-Ghazali spoke about 7 valleys. Where are the valleys? Valleys are at the same floor, same level. Buddhist calls 7 temples. So temples are not made higher and lower. They are at the same altitude. Zen calls it 7 lions. Lions remain at the same altitude. But for explanation it is important, like just as wall is vertical. So in that way, but each brick that is put in order to make the wall one piece, they are put one top of the other. So in that way we can understand the hierarchy, because wall cannot be horizontal. In order to have a structure, the wall cannot be horizontal. Temples can be at the horizontal level. The wall must be vertical. 4 walls, they encompass a certain space, and that is used for a specific purposes. These 7 centers, 7 churches, 7 lions, 7 temples, they are 7 doors to reach a particular reality. And you must be aware, if you are going into a building and you want to be familiar with, you have to be familiar with all entrance and exits. There is a particular place that is called, the Hindi name is different. If you go without the guide, you will never be able to come out, because all doors look similar. You do not know which is entrance, which is exit. So it is very difficult to come out. So in chakra hierarchy, in a way it is not a hierarchy, it is in the wall, in the building up the wall, is there hierarchy. The lower, what happens there, this brick that is there, the stake of the bricks that are there, that is going to be used in making that wall. Any brick can go at a certain height. This one can be put first, or that one could be put first. Anyone, there is no particular choice that this will go, except in foundation, because foundation need to be stronger. So a different kind of blocks are used. Otherwise, any block can be put first, or the second or third. So when we talk about Mooladhara, when we talk about Swadhisthana, these are the centers which needs to be built. The foundation is to be built first, then the first block, and slowly you go on placing the blocks in a particular sequence until you reach the desired height. So Mooladhara is the base center. This is root. Your roots must be stronger, so that any kind of the wind does not disturb. When the heavy winds or storm comes, many trees are uprooted because the wind is so strong. So now when the structures, building structures are made, there are certain specifications that they are the earthquake safe. So earthquake can happen at a certain, the Richter scale, a certain magnitude on a Richter scale. So it should be capable to sustain that. Foundation is to be stronger. There are different kind of mixture is used to place the blocks together. So Mooladhara and Swadhisthana is the first 2 centers. And when one cup is filled to the brim, then it starts overflowing. When the energy starts flowing in the first center and it begins to overflow, it goes towards the other center, the water center. Together these form the 6 centers. But these 6 centers are not separate from one another. It's not that Mooladhara is the lower and that is higher. Just as each block, the lower and the higher, are connected to one another as synergistic harmony, and for the wall, we know only one thing, one wall, and there is nothing lower and higher. It is for convenience purposes. You call this lower part when you are putting the sockets, electrical socket, you put it at the lower height. When you are placing the nails to hang the pictures, it is at a certain height. So depending on the usage, you put the you use the term higher and lower, not otherwise. So then comes the solar plexus, which is the third center. It is the center which almost comes in the center of the body. And this center, through umbilical cord, you were connected to your mother's womb. That is a very intimate relationship with the mother. You get the nourishment. When you are connected to the cosmos, through this, you have to do it, this connection consciously, that we are part of synergistic harmony. There is nothing special in me. The same blood flows in me. Maybe my and your blood group may be the same. DNA may be different, but there is consciousness which connects us. There is a power within that knows beyond our knowings. We are not aliens nor as strangers joined. We are bound to each other by a causeless force. This is inseparable bond between me and you. We come from the same source. We carry the same consciousness. Maybe our bloods may be the same, but the mind that separates us, the identity that separates us. If you forget the identity, there is no difference between me and you. But if you identify yourself in a particular way, in a particular section, say religious identity, cultural identity, or the national identity or something, then the difference comes in. So you establish the umbilical cord with the master, and through that you are nourished. Now, what makes you come to listen to these streaming? I am not highly educated. I am not an expert, and what I am speaking to you is not quoting any verses of the scriptures or psalms or the ayats or anything, but what I am speaking is common, something that you can understand, but you never thought the things that way. So there is a bond between me and you, a subtle bond that connects you with me. Maybe we may not talk, maybe we may not meet as often as needed, but yet still there is a bond, even if for a certain period of time we do not speak to one another, but the distance never felt ever. It is always as if I am very close to you, I am part of you. This is the bond that exists between mother and the child. Although the child is born out of the mother, umbilical cord is separated, removed, and is removed. Now the child breathes on his own, but there remains a subtle connection between the mother and the child. The child feels closer to the mother, and mother feels closer to the child. This does not apply only to human beings, but to other sentient and insentient beings as well, the animals, the birds, the other species also. So after that, now when I said it is, when I will speak on the musical aspect of sex and body as the musical instrument, then I will take. So he starts working, he is now using his energy. First, the root center roots to go deeper into you. Then the water center, the two merge into one another. Then the sex that happens between these two centers, that is the masculine and the feminine. Then in that state, the relaxation at the solar plexus is most important. It increases the intensity of your fulfillment. If you can place your palms on the solar plexus. If you are relaxed, your breathing will go to the solar plexus. Normally, we do not breathe through the entire system. That is where the shortness of the breath comes in. When there is fear in you, there is anger, your breathing does not reach to the solar plexus. The process of transformation requires that your breathing should be reaching to your solar plexus. And in advanced stages, you can breathe through any part of the body. You can place your pulse, you can feel the pulse in any part of the body. Normally we do at the wrist, normally to check the pulse rate, but it can be felt at other parts as well. So this is the solar plexus, but the movement of the solar plexus is like percussion instruments. Percussion instrument, thump, 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 that kind of a sound that comes in when a percussion instrument is played. Then comes the heart center. Heart center is the center where it is to be understood that this is the wind instrument. Wind. The air is blown into it, and with that a sound is created, because the breathing that you do, it reaches through your nostrils, through the windpipe to the chest area, and it expands and contracts. But the breathing, it does not end there. It must reach up to the solar plexus. That is the journey from nostrils to solar plexus. But it does not happen. There are certain obstructions because of fear, because of doubt, because of many other reasons. The breathing does not reach the solar plexus. The most relaxed state is when it reaches to the solar plexus. And this state is known as, in yoga, Shavasana. Shav means a dead. Asana means posture, that you are lying as if you are lifeless. And at that moment you place your hand, you will see the breathing goes into the solar plexus. For that, certain breathing exercises are there. When you are if you look at it, when we use the word Allahu, Allahu, the moment you say Hu, there is a zarab or force on your solar plexus. Hu, hu, hu. Your belly contracts and expands. So in every way of life, every way of spiritual development, this is there. But we give importance to the word Allah. But who is important? That is, the breath comes in and who breath goes out. And the two is important. That is why when we are doing this certain zikr according to the Sufi tradition, it is important where the zarab has to go. Either the zarab means when you are exhaling, the force with which you are exhaling and where the force has to go. It can go on the earth. You are doing, or it can go on your solar plexus. So it depends upon what needs to be transformed, what stage you have to go through. The master tells you in this particular zikr, the zarab has to be on your solar plexus. The exhaling force, the energy is exhaling with a force, and the force is going into this center. Then the wind instrument, the chest has its own way of expansion and contraction. Then comes up the throat center, center of expression. The from here, this is, you can say, the gateway. From this you can enter into the body, or you can go beyond that. This is the center of expression. I am speaking to you. You find that what I am speaking is very meaningful, so you want to go, or you read a post that I did, you feel that you want to share it with everyone. When something is beginning to change in you, a process of transformation is happening and some inner changes you are experiencing within, wait for the words of the Master. Unless the things have settled in you, if you go and start teaching to the others, that will not help the person. The force that my word will have onto you will not have your force until the force comes from within you. I am speaking, I am just speaking spontaneous, and the words are flowing. So it is the energy that is flowing in the form of words. When Vivekananda was speaking in the Parliament of Religions, and after that he got the accolade, and once he was speaking at the moment, at that time, Sister Nivedita, whose name was, it was Margaret Noble, was the name of that American to whom Vivekananda gave the name Sister Nivedita. It is a very pious name. The word was used by Vivekananda for his the beautiful disciple who was the right hand of Vivekananda and helped in Vivekananda could count on her. In one of the occasions when I think it was Jamshedji Tata, the business tycoon, he had a certain idea, and he met Vivekananda in a flight, and he told his intentions, what he want to do for Indian community, to establish the centers for the hospitals and things like that. Vivekananda gave. So after the flight, the meeting was arranged. Vivekananda sent Nivedita on his behalf to continue the process of negotiation. So such is the nobility of that name. And Margaret stood as a litmus test to Vivekananda's trust in her. So she asked, Swamiji, when you were speaking in Parliament of Religions, it appeared as if you have asked us to plunge into the sea, we would have done it. There was a force, as if the rays of light was emitting out of your body. Vivekananda said, Nivedita, you have understood the reality. When I was speaking in the Parliament of Religions, the words were mine, the voice was mine, but the force behind my voice was of that haggard man, my master. He was speaking through me. That energy that flows in me, the energy that has encompassed within me, it is that energy that flows, that becomes the words, that becomes the gestures that flows into you. It is the effect of that. There is a particular couplet. मेरे दिल को दिल न समझो, मेरी जान को जान न समझो, कोई और बोलता है, मेरी जुबान न समझो. मेरे दिल को दिल न समझो, do not consider my heart to be heart. Do not consider my tongue, which is the vocal cord, to be the vocal cord. Heart is a biological aspect, but in Sufi terminology, heart is the kalb, the center for transformation or gateway. मेरे दिल को दिल न समझो, do not consider my heart to be heart. Do not consider my vocal cord to be vocal cord alone. कोई और बोलता है. Someone else speaks through me. कोई और बोलता है. मेरे दिल को दिल न समझो, मेरी जान को जान न समझो, कोई और बोलता है. Someone else speaks through me. Just as you are connected, when the bulb is lit, bulb has the capacity, it has that mechanism that when the current flows into it and it activates that filament between the two, positive and the negative, there is an illumination. So I am that, the master is that instrument, that filament, which allows the two currents to flow into it, and then illumination happens. The illumination for that bulb is equally important because it has made itself available to manifest the quality of the electric current. But it is, if the electric current is not coming, the bulb may not light. But the two are equally important. Master and disciple is like that. Without the master, the disciple is meaningless, and without the disciple, master is meaningless. Tantra says without the man, woman is incomplete, without the woman, man is, and without the man, woman is incomplete. Their togetherness is bliss, togetherness is harmony, togetherness is oneness. But how to attain to that oneness? Go beyond the ego. Now we reach to the center of the expression. So when a desire, intense desire arises in you to share it with the people, you just allow the word, the message to come in, so that your words will get activated. You know, in the terminology of the smartphones, you get the connection, but your system is not activated. Your system has to be activated from the source. Yesterday on my iPhone there was a problem because we have two mobile networks, B Mobile and Digicel. So my network is Digicel. From Digicel to Digicel, I was able to get the connection, but from my Digicel, I was getting the calls reaching to B Mobile, but from B Mobile, the calls were not coming to me. So when I called the center, he said, your account is activated, phone is activated, there is no problem. I said, it seems that the incoming calls from the other network are not being reached. So she said, okay, I can refresh it at my center. So what does Master does? Master refreshes it at his center and your system gets activated. You have, and she told me that this is here very important message. She said, you switch off the phone, leave it switched off for 1 minute, then start up again. The problem will be solved. So when it is switched off, when the master says you wait and you switch off your system, means you go into the silence. Remain into the silence. In that moment you are connected, you recuperate your system, you get connected, you are connected to your inner source. Then you activate, turn on the phone again. So this is what Master says. Until you get the permission, okay, from the Master, now you can turn on your system, you can share it with the people. But in this earlier times, we did not have these examples to explain certain things. So Master says that you can sit down in meditations and so, but you do not, first of all, this is the term was used. First, he should be given the permission to have to sit with his immediate family members. Then after some time, he should be given total freedom, total authority, that he can invite anyone and can help in the process of transformation of any person that comes in contact. This is what it is known as the authority is bestowed upon that, and in Sufi terminology, the master he becomes the Khalifa, the most important disciple who attains the masterhood after that. So this is how the process goes on. Then this comes up the third eye center. This is very important center. Up to this, there is duality. The root center, which is Mooladhara, and Swadhisthana, they are connected to one another. They go in harmony with one another. One is needed for the other. One is needed for the other. Then the solar plexus and the heart center, they are connected. Then that is how they go into the 7 centers. First 3 are in pairs. The 7th is separate. So the connection comes up between the throat center and the third eye. This is the center of command. Just as in mobile network there is a command center, in computer, in your laptop system, there is a command center that sends the commands, and there are certain keys through which you can send it. They are known as command keys. So this is the command key. So command key and the center of expression are together. After that, there is no duality. You have attained. The process of transformation is completed. That's why it is 1,000 petal centers. Your lamp is lit. Its illumination is of a high, the term I do not recall what unit is used to measure the illumination. That is the light of 1,000 suns. That is what it is called, 1,000 petal center. It is used as an example. It is said that Allah had 99 names. That means any name you can associate it with Allah. Vishnu Sahasranam. Vishnu is one of the Hindu god, have 1,000 names. So the Sufis, Muslims use 99 number. After 99 is 100. And 1,000 is another metaphor to explain the quality, the omnipresence, the omnipotence of that which is Vishnu Sahasranam, or any other, the god that have 1,000 names. So this is how the entire process of transformation takes place. From the base, it has, Sufis say the first, your emotions has to be corrected. At the same time, simultaneously the work takes place at the identity level. And it is not that the master cannot, the one can only work this way, not the other way. It is like your laptop, which is operating on a different system, and another person's laptop is operating another system, and how the communication, a message can be sent from your laptop to the other. Both are operating a different system. Apple works on iOS operating system. Windows, the other Samsung and other, they work on the Windows operating system. The two systems are different. There has to be an interconnectivity, or there are certain programs that can bring the message from one to the other. Otherwise, you send from your Apple network, because in Apple the word is used numbers and pages. Numbers is similar like the Excel sheet in Windows network, and pages is similar to Word document. But the pages cannot be opened in the Word as a Word document, and Word document cannot be opened as pages without the interconnection. That's a special program, you have to pay for it. But there is a way that the pages document can open in Word document, or the numbers document can be opened in Excel sheet. That is known as portable distribution format. Portable distribution format, PDF. You convert your document into PDF. It can be accessed by any system. So Master, when he sends the information from one center, from the lower centers, that is from your sex centers to the suluk centers, he sends the documents in PDF. Both understand one another. And this is where the connectivity comes between the two. Because the sex centers move in a particular way. The intellect centers work in a different way, just as Apple network and Windows network. They have their different systems of operation. But when the documents are converted into PDF, it is accessed by both. So Master speaks in such a way that you can understand it at the level of sex, at the level of intellect as well. So when I am saying when it will start from tomorrow, the process which I am trying to do in two ways. Number one, through live streaming, and also through under a different series, Wisdoms from the Ocean of the Being. That's the series where this will not be live, it will be recorded and made available. Sex is oceanic. Sex is considered something that taboo. We are not supposed to talk about it. It is blasphemy. But it is the source of bliss to you. And I'll just give you a hint in it. You go in tropical countries, each one of you go to the beach. You go to the beach, there is ocean. You can remain at the seashore, walk on the seashore, put your feet in the water. One thing that you can do. Second, you can sit down on the shore with your feet in the water, or you can start swimming. Swimming, you are in the waves. You are moving in the horizontal direction from one distance to another. The other is diving. What is more important? Is sex a swimming or diving? When I said sex is oceanic, Ocean is not the waves. Ocean is not some total of waves either. Ocean is more than waves. Waves arise on the surface of the ocean. In waves, if you are in the waves, you do not know what is in the womb of the ocean. The gems, the jewels are hidden in the womb of the ocean. If sex is oceanic, if you remain on the surface, changing from one partner to the other, without diving, without going deeper into one act, one particular moment, you will not get the gems, the state of blissfulness. That is the very essence of sex. So it is here a physical act, but the explanation is coming from at a level that is your experience, but you never looked at it from that. It is the merger of jazb and suluk according to the Sufi terminology. I am explaining the act of sex from a level which is much higher than that. Act of sex, each one of you is no simple. This and that's it. But the psychology behind it, but how to enter into it, how to go into the various levels of it is a totally different. That is the aspect of Tantra. Tantra takes you deeper into the nature of it, the act of it, and that's why it is oceanic. And it is life. So combining the two realms, it is combining all the blocks together to make one wall. When one wall is built, you build another wall, then you build all the four walls are completed. You can start the roof, and then you can have the doors and windows. The room will be available for the purpose that you want to use. This is the way of transformation. You have a certain space that you are, and around that, certain boundaries are being created, certain explanations are given, and then when the structure is complete, then you are a complete human being. You are not against this or that. You don't have a hierarchy of lower and higher. This is lower, this is higher, this is good, this is bad. These are dualities. Is the left-hand side of the wall or the right-hand side of the wall is more important? Right hand takes you to the room that is beyond the right side door. The left side takes you from outside. The left side maybe brings you in, but there are always in the house, there are two entrance and two exit, and that is why it is called the emergency exit. You must know how to exit from the other door in an event of emergency. So that is how the structure comes in, and with a comprehensive understanding, a process of transformation can be possible. If your understanding is haphazard, any kind of question comes in, you start looking left and right, how to answer this question. This person embarrasses me with these questions always. There are certain aspirants, I call them aspirants, they post comments, and their comments are, so I had mentioned it, your comments are appreciated, but they reflect your understanding. A child's understanding and the understanding of an adult are different, and the understanding of a grown-up person and that of an enlightened one are even different they are at different levels. We respond from our levels of understanding. I respond from my level of understanding. You respond, you receive from your level of understanding. So when I am talking about sex, some may think that I am interested, this man may be interested in sex. But believe me, that is the least interest. My interest is to make you aware of all those things that are necessary for you to be a better human being. When I am teaching any particular thing, a culinary art, I give details, not simply tell you, saute this, saute onion. But sauteing it requires many factors. What are the different factors? Sautés evenly. It depends upon the size of the slices of the onion. If one is thicker than the other, so the thinner one will get sauteed first, the other will take long, and in that there will not be an even distribution of heat. Secondly, the thickness of the pan that you are using. If it is a light bottom pan, it will have a different effect. If it is a thick bottom, it will have a different. So that's why the thick one will retain the heat for a longer period of time. It may take a little longer to get hot as compared to thin one. So when biryani is made, the bottom has to be the thick. It has to be flat. If it has a belly, then you will not be able to get the even heat. If the belly is like that, in the center here, the heat will be more, but on the sides the heat will not be there. So when you are using for the other purposes, you use a wok shape. When you are making a biryani, it has to be a flat bottom. So the heat evenly goes into the entire pot. Then the flame of the stove is important. So these things are not explained in any cookbook. Now once I was asked to take cooking classes at a particular place. When I looked at the burners, they were normal burners, but they were never cleaned. So they were lighting like a candle. If your burner is lighting like a candle, then the time is not important. Time is irrelevant. If it says saute for 2 minutes, and if the flame of the stove, that is British thermal unit to measure the heat. When the Chinese food is cooked on a high heat, the flame is 125,000 to 150,000 BTU. Normal stoves does not have that. So it is between 3,000 and up. So when there are 4 burners, 3,000, 6,000, 9,000, 17,000. That's how the BTU goes. So when you are sauteing the particular item, you must understand the even cutting of these vegetables, which is very important in Chinese cooking. If you are cutting it shredding or chiffonade or any other format, this is the French way of French terms to explain the different types of cutting. Juliennes, chiffonade, the slicing, shredding. Shredding is thinner. Juliennes is of a different thickness. So this is what is important. Then the nature, the type of the pan, the stove. So along with that it comes in, you saute it until the onion leaves the color and it becomes softer and translucent. Through the eyes you can see the onion has changed the color from the white. It has become off-white. It is looking softer. So these are the fine tunings which only an expert can explain in the process of cooking. In the same way, one who has understood all the nitty-gritty of the process of transformation can give you the fine tuning in the process of sex and entire development. The entire human development does not mean I develop your intellect alone and leave the sex aspect, because that will be haphazard development. Every part of your body for health has to be developed, had to gain strength. For a healthy body, not only your head is to be healthy, not only your eyes or ears, instead every organ of your body has to exercise. We have the exercise for feet, we have exercise for torso, we have exercise for hands, shoulders, neck, eyes, every part of the body. So, and the human transformation is a comprehensive process. You are not the body alone, you are not the mind alone, you are not the intellect alone. All these are incorporated into one format, then the transformation is possible. So I focus on your sex should be fulfilled. If sex is not fulfilled, you are sitting in meditation, but you are thinking about sex. Your sex has to be completely satiated. Only then you can transform. So the earlier masters, they never talked about this. They just tell you cannot be initiated until you get married. But just marriage alone is not a decorative piece. You have to understand, explain what marriage means. William Shakespeare, in one of the couplets, 115 or 14, on love. Love is not love that alters with time. Admit impediments. Love is not love that alters with time or any problem that comes in. It's a beautiful sonnet. Sonnet is a composition of 14 lines. The 2 lines are separate and the 12 lines form that total is 14 lines. It is known as English language as sonnet. One of the compositions, one of the structure. Just as in Hindi we have different compositions. So your sex has to be totally completed, totally understood. You have to be satiated at that level. Then you can move to the other. So it is not that you work on the sex alone, but it has to be worked on overall development of your person, your being. Then transformation is complete. That is what my way is. Those who are connected with me in an intimate way, or they have the separate sessions opportunity, or ask for special sessions for themselves, they are granted that facility, and they know that every aspect of their life is being taken into account. Fulfillment at the level of sex, whether it is how to attain to orgasms, what is the intensity and what is the frequency of it. In that, two things are important, the intensity and frequency. Then the other aspects of it. Then at the same level, the intellect, assimilation of the two into one another. You prepare something when you are cooking. The biryani there is a word called assembly. In the restaurants, biryani is not made and kept it because the time factor is very important. So they have boiled rice, boiled vegetables, and they kept separately depending on what has to be done. So when the biryani is to be made, they put the pan on the fire, the oil or anything that is cooking media, then condiments are added that are needed for biryani, then the vegetables are sorted into it, then the rice is poured, mix it up. So it is assembled. You prepare different things and assemble the plate. How good you are in assembling the plate is very important. So different things have been prepared for you, and now I am assembling that for you. Your sex, your orgasms, your intensity, your frequency, and at the level of intellect, and make it a decorative plate. So you become ready to be served as a most attractive manner. The moment a dish is served, its fragrance. In Indian food, the first experience of the food is the smell of the food. It pleases the nostrils or not. Second is the looks of the dish that is served to you. Third is the taste of the dish. So I am preparing you as a dish so that you are satiated, you are ready to be presented. The smell, the looks, the taste, overall development at the three levels. You are satiated, fulfilled on your own. When you are presenting yourself or coming or you are explaining something to someone, means that you are coming in a decorative form to be served on the dining table. Are you ready to be served at the dining table? Is it a particular texture is required in a Chinese food? The crunch has to be there in the vegetables. Do you have that crunch at the base level, at the sex level? Are you placed into a decorative manner to be served to whoever guest comes in? Some people come to the restaurant for the first time. They have never tasted the Hakka or Chinese or Indian food. So are you ready to be served? A stranger comes to me who have never heard anything about the Master Disciple. Am I able to present myself as a well-prepared, decorated, tasty dish or not? I am speaking to you. I am like a well-prepared dish. that is being served in front of you. You cannot avoid its smell, its look, and its taste. The three things are very important when a master talks to his disciple. What he is talking, is it well presented with proper explanations? And when the food is served on the plate, on the dining table, it has the cutlery on the side, how this dish has to be taken out, and how it is to be consumed. So entire art is involved in the process of transformation. Just as cooking food is not only important, cooking it, decorating it, serving it, garnishing it, all these things are incorporated in the art of culinary, in the art of transformation. All these things are put. What I talked about sex, I talk about centers. So all these are assimilated, that can be put together on a platter, which nobody can deny. Nobody can deny, will be enamored by its smell that it comes in as the food is coming to their table. Oh, what a wonderful way of wonderful dish is this. So that wow factor, oh, I never knew that these talks, sex, and all these things can be put together in such a palatable manner that it becomes a very eye-pleasing, mind-pleasing dish. This is the way the master prepares the disciple. So this is the process of transformation. We will begin tomorrow. Until then, it took a little longer time, and it was inevitable and unavoidable at the same time. Whether I am sure you remain captivated, what next word is coming out of this man? What next dish is coming out of the kitchen? That's where my workshop is. So my body, my mind is my workshop, from where different dishes are served in a most appealing manner to you, so that your process of transformation can continue. Until then, take care. Do have a pleasant day. See you tomorrow.